presentation is on postmodernism and Marvel. My name is Sarah Redding, and this goes for the unit activity, the mid to late 20th century postmodernism. According to Britannica, postmodernism is a late 20th century movement characterized by broad skepticism, subjectivism, or relativism, a general suspicion of reason, and an acute sensitivity to the role of ideology in asserting and maintaining political and economic power. This literary movement spreaded science fiction as well as some signature literary themes. For example, uneasiness about the future, the fear of modern capitalism, and self-reflexivity. Since the Marvel Universe was created in 1939, it's no surprise that postmodernistic elements appear in the MCU, or Marvel Cinematic Universe. Over the years, the Marvel writers have successfully mirrored society and its struggles to maintain a balance between right and wrong. Postmodernism in the Marvel comics and movies is reflected by the fear of nuclear war, abundant wealth, and self-reflexivity. Postmodernism was a reaction to modern war, for example, the atomic bomb, automatic weapons, etc. Postmodernist creativity was spurred by the fear of nuclear war and its aftermath. The awesome power of radioactive isotopes and their unknown effects was reflected in pop culture. In the Marvel comics, the brilliant Dr. Bruce Banner was transformed into, quote, a mewling quim, according to Loki in the Avengers. This was the result of Banner's experiments with gamma rays. The fear of becoming a monster or being destroyed by nuclear fallout is also evident in Peter Parker's life after a radioactive spider bite. The friendly neighborhood Spider-Man struggles with his new powers and wonders if they are a miracle or a curse. This debate about whether war could make the world a better or worse place is comparative to Peter Parker's internal struggles. Another postmodern struggle was the advancement of modern capitalism, specifically the advanced technology and the huge amount of power that one person could have. This winner-take-all mantra takes on a new twist with the self-proclaimed genius billionaire playboy philanthropist, Tony Stark. At first, Tony continues the family business of making weapons. Not until he is transformed into Iron Man does he begin to give back and see the damage that his carefree lifestyle has inflicted. Similarly is Helmut Zemo's journey as a terrorist and an anti-hero. The former Baron uses his family's money and power to destroy what he sees as immoral. Each character here uses their individual power to shape the world as they see fit. This exact notion is what the postmodern society feared. Furthermore, self-reflexivity was somewhat of an experiment in postmodern literature. This is a concept where the author would comment on their own past works or famous writings of other authors within a text to illustrate a point or emphasize their art-creating process. This technique is apparent throughout the MCU. Particular movie scenes are repeated and expanded on from one film to the next. For example, the small group of Avengers assemble in the first movie, the Avengers, while the entire plethora of heroes truly assemble in Avengers Endgame. Both scenes are showing off the heroes with their theme song in the background. This is an explicit nod to the previous film. Many of the Marvel films borrow outright from the comics in terms of costumes and action scenes. Here, Ant-Man's ride on Hawkeye's arrow is a fun nod to its comic origins. This is yet another example of creators mentioning different works within their own pieces. Marvel continues to imitate the real-life struggle to understand our own humanity and the power of the universe. Our fears and reactions to them are shown in our heroes and villains of the MCU. The postmodernist theme of fearing oblivion is present in the MCU. This is obvious in the banter about radioactivity concerning Dr. Banner and Spider-Man. The standoffish nature towards modern capitalism is commented upon with Tony Stark's character Iron Man and the polarizing Baron Zemo. Finally, the practice of self-reflexivity is seen when scenes are relived and comics are imitated. Nonetheless, Marvel continues to turn towards hope and break their expectations somewhat like the Greenwich Beats. For example, no matter what the trickster Loki does, his brother Thor continues to believe there is good in him. When conflict arises, Thor states that he chooses to run towards his problems, not away from them. He says this in Thor Ragnarok. May we all live up to the strongest Avengers example.